like you said, we just kind of move through life, and it might seem, maybe I shouldn't do that, but it's almost a form. I don't know if I'm saying this right, of maybe meditation or conversation. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I was so excited when I heard you were willing to be on the show, because I think it's so important for women in midlife to really kind of sit for a moment. Think about all of the things that have happened to you, and not why, don't even go, but the things that have happened and how you can move through issues that you might be having. So, I want to move into a little bit, since you're here and you're coaching, I want to move into a
Yeah.
little bit of loneliness. This is also a time where loneliness can be an issue. You have a lot of women who either divorce, or maybe there's a breakup after a lot of years. Children go away, move out of college, there are deaths in the family, or there are people who just have been alone for a number of years. You have friends and things like that, but you've been alone. How do you navigate loneliness?
Many people don't know this, but the Surgeon General recently, as of I think it was 2016, maybe 2018, around then, declared loneliness an epidemic in this country. And it is far more common than people know or believe or are aware of. So please know that you are not alone in your loneliness. We live in isolating times. Part of that has to do with the effect that the pandemic has had on our society, working from home and isolation and things like that. Another part of it is with technology, we have more ways of connecting when we're not together, but when we are together, we're not really together. A lot of
Mhm.
times we're on our phones, we're not really giving someone our undivided attention, our presence. So the experiences that we do have are not as deep. And so you can start to see with the context of what's happening culturally right now, that this is a valid experience and very common. If you want to address loneliness, it's not always about having other people around. Many of us also never learned how to connect deeply with ourselves. That is, excuse me, ultimately one of the gifts that inner child work can give, one of the gifts that working with a therapist and or a coach like me can give. It is one of the gifts of addressing your traumas, is realizing a lot of us are carrying weight with us that's weighing us down and preventing us from deepening the connections that are available to us now. Many of us also isolate ourselves. We feel a level or degree of social anxiety, which is also normal. Again, I want to normalize this so that people understand, if you just say it, if you declare, hey, I really like hanging out with you, I'd like to do it more often. If you declare that you want more connection with yourself, which much of this is a projection onto others. Again, we see the world as we see ourselves, and we see ourselves based on how we've been treated. So if you've been through considerable trauma, you can start to see why you would disconnect from others without realizing the cause and without addressing it. So that's how all of this dovetails together. And ultimately, loneliness is not a bad thing. Like any emotion, it will pass. You will not feel lonely forever. It's important to acknowledge the feeling and validate it, while also realizing that our feelings are directionally helpful, but they're not facts. Meaning, your feelings are often calling you back into your body. That feeling of loneliness can be telling you, I feel disconnected from self. I feel disconnected from spirit or God or the universe or energy. I feel disconnected from colleagues. I feel disconnected in a variety of different ways. And honestly, another word for trauma could be disconnection. Disconnection is traumatizing to human beings because we are social creatures. And yet, many of us don't know where to start with connecting with ourselves or what that even means. Meditation is a way to connect with yourself.